All right, we are live. What is going on, guys? And welcome to the live stream here. Welcome to the weekly Wrap Ups YouTube channel. We had some huge breaking news this morning regarding E3 2021 and how it relates to what's going to be going on for the future here of the show. I want to get into that news and talk to you guys about that live. I figured I'd go ahead and go live and just go ahead and discuss it right here because it'd be a lot easier, a lot faster to get the information out there as opposed to, composing a video and working to get that out there. I thought this would be a lot easier to go ahead and do that. So we are going to go ahead and get into the news and information regarding this right now. And here we go. All right, so The Verge was the outlet that actually broke this news regarding E3 going completely virtual this summer. So it will apparently return to an in-person show next year. Apparently, I don't know. We'll have to see how this virtual event goes. I'm not 100% sold on if it actually will come back next year, but we'll have to see what goes on for this year, how successful it goes. So I'll just go over this article here. It's pretty short. It's from The Verge again. E3 2021 will take place on June 12th through June 15th this year as a free, quote unquote, reimagine all virtual event. The Entertainment and Software Association announced today. I'll go to the ESA's or I'll go to GameIndustries.biz as well. They have some information regarding this as well. Organizers announced that the lineup includes companies such as Nintendo, Capcom, Xbox, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, Warner Brothers Games, and most notably, Sony is missing from the list. It does not look like PlayStation is going to be participating for E3 2021. This will be the second consecutive E3 that PlayStation will not be a part of. Of course, E3 was canceled last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The last time that PlayStation was involved with E3 was during E3 2018. They were not at E3 2019. Article continues, article continues, says E3's gaming's biggest event conference in North America typically takes place in downtown Los Angeles every June and attracts a mix of developers, press, and consumers. Last year's event was canceled in April, as I just mentioned. In absence, Jeff Keighley, he launched the Summer's Games Fest, which he will be doing again this year as well, in partnership with many developers to deliver game reveals and news. The digital event is also returning this June, as I just mentioned here. E3 is expected to resume in person next summer. Again, I'm not sold on this completely. And I'll get into this here in a minute on why I'm not completely sold on if E3 will end up coming back next summer or not. I will go ahead and get into that here momentarily. The ESA president, the Entertainment Software Association president and CEO, Stanley Pierre-Louis, says that the organization is evolving this year's E3 into a more inclusive event. Okay, so that's why it's free for everyone. That will still include game reveals and news. The organization confirmed in February that it would hold an online event only this year. Yeah, I remember it was just a couple months ago they went ahead, they put out a tweet that it was going to be digital only and more information would be coming, and today is that day that the information came out there for that. So, I mean, this is obviously huge news, very, very interesting that they that they're going ahead and doing it like this. I think at the end of the day, I think this is good to have everyone involved in some sort of fashion, for everyone to be able to, virtually attend, I guess, E3 and see, exactly what the show has to offer. Because, it was kind of last year it was set up where, you didn't have a show, but instead you had these new consoles launching. You had the PlayStation 5, you had the Xbox Series X coming out, and that seemed like that news kind of took over for what would have been for E3, along, of course, with the Summer's Games Fest. And even during the Summer's Games Fest, Jeff Keighley was discussing, with the DualSense controller, he had a session during the Summers Games Fest where he discussed the controller and everything. So that was a big deal. So the consoles, obviously took over last year. This year, it looks like it's going to be all about the games, which is what it should be all about. That's freaking awesome. That's tremendous. So, getting into the next article here regarding E3 here. Now, this one comes directly from Game Industries, GameIndustry.biz. And, this article is, it's a little bit more informative because it's coming directly from the industry heads themselves as far as everything goes here. So I'll go over this one here briefly as well to see if there's any additional information. Nintendo, Xbox, and Ubisoft are back digital-only E3 2021. PlayStation and EA as remaining absent. So, EA's not going to be at the show as well. EA usually does, they typically do EA Play for E3. So I assume that they're probably going to do the same thing here for this year. Albeit probably an all digital event as well. It says here E3 2021 will return. It should be just E3 will return, not E3 2021 return. But I digress. This June in a digital form and has been backed by Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, Warner Brothers, and Knock Media. It's a strong lineup, especially with the two platform holders on board. However, there are some notable absences, including Sony, EA, Activision Blizzard, which is huge. Activision Blizzard, of course, they work with Call of Duty and the like. Sega, Bandai Namco Games won't be there, and Square Enix, which is huge because, with Final Fantasy VII, and all the other games that Square Enix works on, they're not going to have a presence either. The event takes place now. I would assume, before I continue on here, I would assume that these absences by these companies, I would assume that they're still going to do some kind of like virtual event. Like I assume PlayStation's going to do some kind of virtual event. EA Play's probably going to be coming back. They just haven't announced it yet. Sega, maybe Bandai Namco. I think Square Enix would have something as well. I believe they had something virtually back in E3 2019, if I recall, as far as their events and everything with that. So it says the event will take place between June 12th and June 15th. So there is still time for other publishers to sign up for the event. Goes on, it says this year's show will be online only, but very little details are available besides that. Goes on, it says the press release states that developers will be showcasing their latest news and games directly to fans around the world, with the ESA working with media to amplify and make this content available to everyone for free. That's the big thing they're pushing there, the fact that this is going to be for free. GameIndustry.biz understands this may take the form of media-only days and streaming technology. Let me reread that. GameIndustry.biz understands this may take the form of media-only days and streaming technology. So there's going to be some days, looks like it's going to be for media only. There's going to be some content that's just going to be media only and no kind of public event, I guess, as far as like hosts and whatnot. For more than 2 decades, E3 has been the premier venue to showcase the best that the video game industry has to offer while uniting the world through games. We are evolving this year's E3 into a more inclusive event, but will still look to excite the fans with major reveals and insider opportunities that make this event the indispensable center stage for video games. That's from the CEO, Stanley Pierre-Louis. It's been a challenging 12 months for the games event business, but E3 was under pressure even before the pandemic, with long-term supporter Sony announcing it wouldn't be attending the show last year prior to its COVID-related cancellation. The PlayStation company joined EA, which also hadn't supported E3 for several years. Yeah, and that's the thing. EA hasn't been at E3 for, it's been quite some time. I can't recall exactly when the last year that they were at the event, but it has absolutely, it has definitely been some time since the last time that they were at the event. So again, there it is. It's 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 quite interesting, and it's like I said, it's quite telling again for the fact that Sony and EA and Bandai Namco and Square Enix aren't going to be at this event. What does that mean for E3? For the future of E3? That could be a video topic. That sounds like a good video topic. What does it mean? I think it means that E3 could be slowly, diminishing. These companies, they seem to like to go ahead and have and hold their own event as far as as far as announcements of games and other related projects that are they're working on as far as hardware and everything else. And additionally, it's expensive for these companies to go ahead and have booths at E3. At the convention center, the LACC, they're charging a large amount of money for these companies to go ahead and have booths and everything at E3. And so it's just cheaper for these companies to just go ahead and be like, hey, let's just go ahead and have our own, virtual event and, just have it from there and have it inclusive with everybody. So everybody can join, not just necessarily media. Let's go ahead and have public, be able to join as well. And that's the thing with EA Play. They were able to go ahead and have the public go ahead and join as far as checking out what they had to offer with their new lineup. That's a thing. I think that's what I think that the industry is turning more towards, is more of an event that's more inclusive with everybody, but not necessarily having it where you're going to be hosting it at the convention center. It's going to be something that's more inclusive with everybody, and that way it saves money. I'm sure it saves time as far as setting those booths up, because some of those booths, you guys have seen those booths, they're crazy. I mean, they're super detailed, and showing off all kinds of different artwork and everything with the games and everything that are going to be coming out for that year. So I think this is definitely going to be the way that things are going to be headed in the future when it comes to E3. We'll see if it comes back for next year. If it does come back next year, I don't necessarily think it's going to be that huge of an event as far as the actual developers and everyone that's going to be attending. I think it's going to be something where, you don't see nearly as many people go, and then, eventually it's going to just slowly fizzle out. Unfortunately, because E3 is one of those events that I've always loved when it comes to gaming. But it seems that now, since the internet has just become so huge and news is just instantaneous, you don't have to wait for it, waiting around for these conferences and everything during E3. You can just go ahead and just have your own thing and just announce it whenever and wherever. So it's definitely interesting to see how they're going to move forward with this. And then this the last thing, I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys the E3 site here as well, because they went ahead and they updated the site for E3 2021. So you can see right here, your online interactive worldwide Game On, June 12th through June 15th. You can learn more there. And then it looks like here you can go ahead and you can put in your information if you want to find out more information about E3 2021 as far as the digital experience goes. You can select your attendee type as a fan, looks like media, exhibitor sponsor, or industry member there. So you can go ahead and get, it's right at e3expo.com. You can go ahead and check it out right there as far as registering for information. And then if you go down here, they have a drop down up at the top menu here for media, fans, industry, and all that. We'll just check out the different menus that they have here. So media access like never before, exclusive content, more convenient from June 12th through the 15th. And it looks like you can go ahead and register as media, which I actually already have done to try to keep you guys informed with the latest information if you're following the channel and everything. Looks like there's going to be press kit information there. That's just for graphics and whatnot. But Yeah, it looks like you can officially register as media for E3 right here on the site. And I would assume they're pretty much just going to let anybody be media this year because of the fact that, it's online only, So, if you're looking to go ahead and cover E3 as media, it looks like you can go ahead and do that. And you just select the media and just fill out the form there. And it's pretty cool. You're pretty much good to go as far as far as that goes. The other items here, fans, obviously for following it as a fan, you're watching here. E3 is going to be offering the ultimate access for every fan, including every publisher, major publisher showcases, live press conferences, extended live streams, special events, and more. Registration begins in the spring, which is now, so you can register there as fans. And then under industry, now industry, this would be the people that would be going in through and setting up, for like the booths and everything. That would be for exhibitors in industry, those type of people. E3 2021 is designated to accelerate your business, get exclusive access to top publishers and developers, preview new games and products coming to the market, and build new relationships with developers and publishers. E3 2021 is the place where you can do a year's worth of business in less than a week. Interesting. And have a ton of fun along the way. It says mark your calendar for June 12th through June 15th. And then, of course, exhibitor sponsor. Let's build something together. Oh, that's kind of cool graphic there. More reach, more coverage, more engagement. Reach more consumers than ever before and reveal your latest creations in the world of E3. What can E3 do for you? So there it is. And that's for if you're an exhibitor or sponsor. And again, every single one of these pages, you can go ahead and register. And then if you want to co-stream, you can sign up to be a co-streamer, and then they'll go ahead and give you the information as far as co-streaming the show. And that's the latest information today, April 6th, 2021. So there it is. That's E3 2021. Looks like E3 is officially back in some sort of capacity with the online only event. So I think this is cool. And again, it will be very interesting to see exactly, how this works out. I think it can be successful. The world's shown that they can be pretty productive whenever it comes to being virtual and everything with that. Sorry, camera's losing autofocus there. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. Should come back into focus there, hopefully in a minute. But yeah, as the world's being able to adapt pretty easily as far as being virtual. So that doesn't seem to be too much of an issue when it comes to, being productive and everything. Productivity hasn't really seemed to miss a beat at the end of the day, due to the fact that, people have shown that they can still be productive virtually. And so therefore, E3 looks like they're going to go ahead and try to, take their stab at this as well. And I think it'll be successful as well. But as far as the public event goes, with people being there in person, not necessarily, ending due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but ending due to the interest and the finances in the future, I don't think this is necessarily going to be a thing. Sure, it may come back next year, but I don't think it'll ever be as big as what it used to be. E3 was the gaming's biggest event. I mean, you'd go, there'd be like 70,000 people there, and shoulder to shoulder. That's not probably ever going to happen. You're probably not going to see something like that again, especially now that this stupid pandemic has happened. People are going to be more and more reluctant to just go do things. Maybe they won't be. Maybe they'll want to. Maybe they'll want to be with people and everything. I could see that too. I could see that perspective as well. But like I mentioned, the whole price thing it's such a huge deal, and it's just easier to just go ahead and just go online and just be virtual and just have everyone be included with everything, and just have your own event and host it that way. It's just so much easier. You use your own resources, your own material, and you're squared away. You're good to you're good to go. You don't have to worry about everybody else's worrying about the ESA's resources, and having them charge these companies for those resources from a business perspective. It's just easier to host your own event. And I think that's the way it's going to be going down pretty much from now on as far as E3 goes. So I guess we'll just have to see at the end of the day, where they end up going with this. If they end up in the future deciding if they're going to go ahead and do it virtual and live, I guess we'll see. So yeah, that's the news on that. I'll have more information on this news here in the coming days. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple op vids as far as PlayStation, EA, and all the other publishers, and companies not attending E3 and what it means for the future. I'll go ahead and push a video out on that, as that seems to be a pretty relevant and important topic for the future here. So because it's in June, that's right around the corner here. We're already in April just started here. We're only a couple months away, so it's going to be here just like that. So definitely going to want to go ahead and see the information on that. So but yeah, that pretty much wraps up this live stream. I think I just wanted to, like I said, I just wanted to go live briefly here and give you guys the information on this, and let you know what the 411 was on that. So definitely very interesting as far as what's going to be going down for E3. So for this year, so it's going to be fun. Either way, it's going to be fun. It always is fun. It's going to be crazy chaotic, as it always is, to keeping up with all the news. So I'll be sure to keep you guys locked in on that information. So definitely make sure you keep it locked right here on the weekly wrap up. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash the like button. I'll be pushing out more videos and trying to go live more often. Additionally, you want to get notified if you aren't already. Go ahead and click on that bell and subscribe. Get notified once I go live, just like this. And additionally, whenever I go ahead and push a new video out to the channel as well. So definitely go ahead and do that, and it really helps out the channel quite a bit. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm A2P Albert Perkins. We will see you guys in the next live stream or the next video. Either way. Until then, and as always, peace out, guys.